Not exactly hidden. Der Kemka, a prince of blades and creed. Der Kemka, strong and fierce and free. The movie's opening song announces, and Morg Arkhoon stuffs down a laugh. Oh, that took him back. And of course, the movie can't even get out of the opening credits without the man's shirt being cut right down the middle to expose his abs. He outright snorts in amusement as Maggie Kemka gives out a little sound of interest. At this rate, he'd drag her home and tell his mothers they misplaced one of his siblings for a while. And wouldn't that go over well? Is yours like that? Maggie Kemka asks, and Morg opens his eyes. Did she just ask? Are my, what like that? Your stomach, she clarifies, and he groans before lifting his shirt. That doesn't look so... He stands up and his stomach flattens to expose that, yes, he does have that kind of build. She lets out a sound akin to a paratac eating particularly messily, and he lets the shirt go and then slumps back down into the air cushion chair. So men actually look that way, Magi asks, and Morg snorts. Usually. Some races have different builds and are put together in different ways, but unless they massively overeat or don't have axiom to assist, they generally have abs to show. Wait, humans don't have axiom to assist? Yup. According to them, it's usually considered hard to have your muscles bulging and showing on your homeworld because you need to eat more to make up for a lack of axiom, and eating just a little too much will make you develop rolls of fat, particularly over the gut. I haven't seen it myself, but there are a few sorcerers with really massive builds and very, very big stomachs. Of course, they're lined with insanely strong muscle, so it's hard to tell if they're fat or just built like a monster. Morg remarks as he vaguely remembers those particularly huge specimens practicing by lifting entire logs and boulders. They had explained to him that if their cores weren't so huge and strong, then they'd snap their spines pulling a stunt like that. And when he tried to shift the stuff without axiom to help him, he had to agree. That shit was heavy. Oh, that's... Maggie begins before trailing off as the movie beings proper with the murder of Countess Vasi Gorth and Der Kemka's subsequent unjust arrest and framing for the crime, which means he spends some time fuming in his cell, ripping off his shirt in rage, of course, and then breaking out to clear his good name. I shall ensure that my name is cleared, so swears Der Kemka, Morg says at the same time, and with the exact same inflection and accent as Der Kemka, which prompts a heavy giggle from Maggie Kemka. You chose this name because you watch this movie so much, Maggie says, clearly pleased, and Morg shrugs but chuckles. Partially. I was just thinking about names that wouldn't turn any heads no matter what you look like, and Kemka was one that just sprang to mind and wouldn't leave, he says, and she laughs a little before bodily moving her seat a bit to get into a more comfortable position to watch the show. The next hour is spent with him matching Der Kemka's hammy third-person proclamations, even as he relaxes long and well. Then he drifts off to sleep. The sound of a nearby girl giggling, the goofy movie in the background, a very comfortable seat. You'd have to drug the man in order to knock him out faster. He fades back in as there's a friendly knock on the door. The credits for The Tale of Der Kemka. The dashing swordsmen are playing and he rises up, but Maggie Kemka gets to the door first. Anything off the trolley, you two? The matronly Apuk asks as Morg rises up and nods. Do you have any Valval? Maggie Kemka asks, and she gets a friendly laugh. Oh goodness no, dearie. Valvals are much too expensive for the trolley. We do have some lovely Yathan Sphere if you don't mind a slightly less expensive alternative. You got any meat flour in there? Morg Arkin asks. Of course, young man. Here you are, anything to drink with it? The lady asks, handing him a small plastic package with bright blue packaging and the image of off-color flowers on it. Just some water. I don't want to spoil dinner. Morg replies with a smile and is handing a small bottle. Thank you kindly. Do you have some sipping broth? Of course. Paratak, Valis and Uthan flavored, she says. Uthan, please. The taste of the ocean is always pleasant. Indeed it is, young lady. Here you are. Now, do you actually want a Yathin sphere or... Yes, please, Maggie says and is handed the large snack on a stick and her thin fish broth. I'll be seeing you both come dinner time, dearies. Enjoy your snacks. Thank you kindly, ma'am, Morg Arkun states, and she nods happily at them before moving forward a couple of steps and then knocks on the door there. Magi Kemka closes the door to their little area. So, you like meat flowers? Aren't they just jerky? Magi Kemka asks, as Morg opens up the package and sees the small brown and red flower made of numerous strips of jerky that come together as a knot for the center of the flower as they also splay out to form the petals. It's a 6-petal flower, so there are 3 tiny bits of wood keeping them all pinned together. Maybe, but they were a big seller and fairly new on the market when I was young. So when me and my sisters got all our chores done, we were each allowed to grab a single snack from Mother's store. I always went for meat flowers, Morg confesses as he pulls out one of the little pegs and 2 of the petals fall away from the rest. He starts chewing on one and takes a sip of his water as Magi Kemka takes a big, crunchy bite of her candy. He wasn't sure if a Yathin sphere had anything in it that was technically food, but she's a big girl, and if she wants to have sugars rushing through her and making her agitated, then that's her choice. He slowly eats the meat flower and then nods as Magi Kemka starts flipping through the channels. I think I should speak with the captain, see about shifting our tickets around a bit, or maybe having an unscheduled stop considered. I should come with you. No, don't worry, just relax. I can take care of it, Morg Arkun states, and she pauses. Are you sure? You can come if you want, but it's just going to be me talking with the captain, nothing exciting or interesting. He assures her, and she considers, and then pockets her still unopened broth and follows him out of the room. All right then, let's have some words with the captain. The ship is a lightly carpeted affair, somewhat claustrophobic, but this part of the ship was designed for the more medium-sized races of the galaxy, and not the smaller ones or the larger races. It's economy class. The ship isn't fancy, but instead very functional. There should be a crew area between the bridge and the passengers, and that's likely where they'll speak to the captain. It takes about a minute to cross the distance as the ship is rather large, and Magi Kemka is still crunching on her Yathin sphere as Morg knocks on the door to the crew-only area. Yes? The answering woman asks. Is there something wrong with your snacks? Oh no, nothing of that sort. But I need to speak with the captain about what I need to pay to alter our tickets mid-flight. Pardon? We're trying to avoid some people. They made a false police report about us, and because of the officer questioning us and letting us go, our pursuer is going to know where we're going to now. So if we can change our tickets mid-flight and have it arranged so the correction is only offered up to the main facilities after we've already landed and departed, that will really help us slip away. Why are you running from someone? What's going on? The crewwoman asks, and Magi Kemka makes a strange sound around the mouthful of nearly finished Yathin sphere. My mother. She's very controlling, and I've run away with his help, Maggie says as she clears her mouth. I need to get away and by myself and not just a clone or a pet of my mother instead of her daughter. What? What's even going on? She asks, and Morg Arkun sighs. I am Morg Arkun. She is currently going by the name of Magi Kemka for her own protection. I'm trying to keep her safe, and for that, she needs to be off Serbo. But the woman chasing her used the police to try and track her down, and since the police held us up for a few minutes and only left after getting confirmation that Magi Kemka is with me willingly, well, it means that this flight might be tracked and our tickets examined. Just getting off at another city might buy us some hours to try and get her safe. You need to speak with the captain, she says, and Morg Arkun nods. Yes, we do. All right, return to your cabin. I'll call him down and he'll be speaking with you shortly, she says, and Morg Arkun nods. All right. Although heads up, if I don't see him inside an hour, I'm going to start looking, Morgan says, and she gives him an odd look. I don't want something this important to be simply forgotten or brushed aside. I see. Please return to your cabin. I'll let him know that it's important. She promises, and he nods. What, that's it? Maggie Kemka asks. It would have been nice to catch him here, but that's a best-case scenario. We can wait a bit. Morg Arkin replies, and Maggie nods. They bid their goodbyes and head back to the cabin as Magi starts flipping through the channels. There are two children's entertainment. One nature documentary that has a running tally of how many camera drones a Serbo-Leviathan has destroyed in the making of the documentary, and a countdown to Bone Chewer Origins, the true story of the initial massacre. It's probably best that it's a while away, as that classic splatter movie disguising itself as a historical documentary is loud, distracting, and, to be honest, the kind of absurd that is very hard for Morg to not openly laugh at. Thankfully, the wait isn't very long, as he kills time by studying the map of Lil Betulelb once more and readjusting his mental map. If New Blade isn't an option, then considers the geography around Slow Velocity and Airship Falls. His initial plan of finding an undeveloped spit of land away from the main vacation destinations and seeing if he could splice in the dark forest needs adjustment. As he finally starts to piece a plan together, and 45 minutes have passed, the door to their cabin opens, and standing in a Trans-System Express uniform is an unamused Saramali man, all four of the man's eyes boring into Morg. I don't appreciate threats on my ship, he says in a clipped tone. The warmth and friendliness from over the PA is just gone. And I don't appreciate that the woman who I'm trying to help has been found out, and we may be walking into a damn ambush if we don't have that talk. Morg replies as he rises up out of the chair, and the eyes narrow as the winged man steps through and the door closes behind him. I think I need further explanation, the captain says, and Morg nods. I am Morg Arkin, a sorcerer of the Dark Forest. I'm positive that means little to those who don't live on Serbo, but we're politically considered a countering force to overwhelming aggression in the days of old and even nowadays. Long story short, this young woman here asked for my help and I gave it to her. She's seeking to escape out from under her mother's thumb and to get out of her mother's shadow. Her mother's response was to call law enforcement and decry me as a kidnapper. So she's Alara Salm the Younger. The name on her ticket is Maggie Kemka. The captain notes as all four eyes close, and he considers deeply. Ma'am, are you here willingly? I'm not certain what a sorcerer is, but I'm willing to help you get home if you desire. I'm here willingly, she replies. Are you certain? He hasn't coerced you, has he? I'm very skilled in teleportation, and if you want to escape this man, I can have you at a safe and secure part of this ship faster than he can blink. The captain offers. I am here willingly. I want to go to Lil Betulelb. I want to see what he's going to do there, and if he'll let me, I'd like to keep traveling after, Maggie Kemka says, and the captain nods. All right then. There are 3 major ports, however. This vessel gets serviced at a spaceport in orbit of Lil Betulelb. It has a transport nexus in there that can and will take you to any major city across the planet. Just stay in your cabins an extra couple of hours, and that will be your drop-off point. You've done this before, Morg Arkin says, and he nods. This is the first time I've done it with a man helping a woman escape. But this is far from uncommon, although there's usually a year or 2 between events. The captain says, I'll have to buy you a drink and get the story out of you. Oh no, a bit busy for that, but thank you, he says. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to update your tickets so that you're not bothered until we land at the dock.